This week begins the first week in ordinary time, that time that is not like Easter time, nor Advent, nor Lenten. This is the time that is an ordinary time. And in this beginning of ordinary time, our reading, which comes from Mark's gospel, um, tells about Christ's beginnings in his new ministry as he comes out of the desert. He's been formed in those 40 days and 40 nights he spent contesting with Satan, and comes out the victor over that confrontation. And the first thing he begins to do is to call his first disciples. And after that, after calling his first disciples, we find that Christ goes into a temple, into the synagogue, and there he begins to speak and to teach. And it's a remarkable when we recognize that what the people say in response to his teachings, to his understandings, to all that he is saying, that they wonder, how can this man speak with such authority, as with such wisdom? And while they're thinking this, Christ notices there's a man there in the temple who is possessed by an evil spirit. And that evil spirit says something. He says, "Oh, we know who you are. Have you come to destroy us? We know you're the Holy One of God." And Christ tells him, "Be quiet and come out of him." And at that moment, the man falls out and convulses and rolls around on the floor, and that demonic evil spirit comes out of him, and the man stays there. Now that part is really interesting, is it not? That Christ threw this devil out of the man, but did not throw the man out of church. Now, that doesn't mean that we walk around in church and say, "Well, I know who God needs to throw some evil out of today," because, see, everybody else is looking at you. Yes, we all come to our church filled with things that are difficult. That's why we go to church. You know, I've often understood that old saying that church is not a hotel for saints. Church is a hospital for sinners. This is where we go because, see, church calls us to be a better person than we were when we came into church. It's this place where we recognize the goodness and the joy of community as it collectively worships the God that created us all. I want to share with you this one thought. Have you ever heard of the red car theory? Probably not, since I kind of made it up, but and I will ask you this. Yesterday, how many red cars did you see? You have no idea, because it wasn't something that you paid attention to. Well, what if I would have said, well, at the end of the day, you will receive a check for $100 for every red car that you saw? Then you would have probably paid attention to how many red cars you saw that day. Well, let's use that same kind of analogy. How many people did you see Christ in yesterday? How many people did you see that they had a goodness about them that was unmistakable? How many times did you see God present in nature? How many times did you recognize that a kindness from you affected someone you didn't even know? You see, things tend to happen what we pay attention to, what becomes something important to us. We pay attention to those things that somehow there might be a reward, and maybe the reward is only a kindness, a growth, a better than you used to be. So I'm going to ask you this week to do something. Have some red car moments. Look to see how often you said to someone you didn't know, "God bless you." You know, we have no idea how that might help someone in a difficult day. These red car moments are the moments when we use them right, when we pay attention to the beauty, the joy, the generosity, forgiveness, the love of God, And we can then, in our red car moments, show that to others. And so when we get up in the morning and we think about what we're going to do, and we ask, Lord, what are we going to do today? Well, the answer is, we'll find some red cars. God bless.